Much better?
Not too high because...
Hello, now you can hear? Okay.
Bow down.
Now it's okay? Well, we will solve the technical problems. First of all, good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. First of all, it's... well, sorry? Higher? Hello. Yeah. First of all, let me tell you that it's very, very moving to be here, your guest, in the township of Edvard Munch. I visit many times the museum of Munch, and you can be proud of having one of the most recognized, gifted painters, not only in Norway, but all over the world. Then it's for me really, really touching and moving to be here and to see the landscapes that are reflected many times in the paintings, in the drawings of Munch. Dear friends, I would like to thank MIFF and your chairman, Morten Rasmussen, very much for your kind invitation. And let me assure you that we value our friends, especially at times of insecurity. This is why I would like to thank you, each of you, for proudly calling yourself friends of Israel. I deeply appreciate your support, your friendship, your courage. I strongly believe it requires courage to stand against the stream. The connection between Israel and the members of MIFF are based on shared values, deep values from which springs Jewish Christian civilization, and also shared interest. In the Middle East, Israel is the only country in which you can say that both things are true. Shared values and shared interest. In the most profound sense, in the deepest sense, we are you and you are us. We are part and parcel of the same civilization. We share a common heritage and we share a common future. Theodor Herzl, the modern prophet, like a biblical prophet who appeared in the history of our people 100 years ago, spoke about the rebirth of the Jewish state. And he was asked once, tell me, Mr. Herzl, once founded, once established, how long would the Jewish state survive? And his answer was, the Jewish state will survive as long as the Western civilization will survive. And at the time of uncertainty, the bonds that bind us together are more important than ever. And we are definitely living in times of uncertainty. The sands between Pakistan and Gibraltar are shifting. A few months ago, the ground moved in Tunisia, and then the earthquake hit Egypt, and we still don't know how far and how deep and where the tremors will reach. But I think one thing has been brought into very sharp focus by the events of the past months. Israel is an island of stability in a very unstable region. Between the west of India, between between the west of India up to the Atlantic Ocean, going from North Africa through the Middle East, through Afghanistan and Pakistan, and all that vast land. Israel is the one true and certain place of stability. Why? We are stable because we are a vibrant democracy anchored in robust democratic values. Of course, there is no contradiction between the Jewish nation state and a democratic state. A Jewish nation state that recognized the fact that the Jewish people were dispersed as a minority, never had a land of their own. So, for the last 2,000 years, we have been trying to go back to our ancestral homeland and re-establish a sovereign existence for our people, so we can continue our national life with our heritage and our values of freedom. And this is our history. And we did come back to the land of Israel. We did establish our sovereignty. We did establish a vibrant democratic state. We are anchored in those values, and because of those values of freedom, of choice, of pluralism, Israelis are sympathetic to the advance of genuine democratic reform in all countries. We feel a natural bond with countries where the rights of women, the rights of minorities are respected, where people are governed by laws and not by men. The 20th century saw a great part of humanity enter the modern age with an unprecedented expansion of political and economic liberty. But for many in the Middle East, the 20th century skipped them by. Now, the 21st century technology is reminding them of what they have missed. We are sympathetic to all of those who are working to reform their own society and to bring them into the modern world. Yet, at the same time, history also argues for prudence when it comes to revolutions. Even those revolutions that started in the name of freedom. We know of many examples of anti-democratic forces that co-opted a people's genuine desire for liberty and instead established brutal regimes that cut out liberty and crushed all human rights into the dust. You are familiar with one example. It happened in 1917, a few months of a Russian spring under Kerensky, then turned into a 70-year Bolshevik winter. And this happens again in our region in 1979. The Iranian people hope of a new democratic sunrise turned into a darkness of 30 years of brutal repression. So, while we all hope that every country succeeds in walking down the path of reform, history teaches us not to assume that any destination is inevitable. In the case of Egypt, there are many possible outcomes beyond the liberal democratic models that we take for granted in our own countries. I don't know what will happen in Egypt, but from Israel's perspective, our interest is clear. Our interest is to maintain the peace that we have enjoyed for 3 decades. That peace has brought quiet to our southern border, and it served the strategic interest of both countries and brought stability to the region. In fact, to the entire Middle East. So we have to do everything in our power to preserve this blessing for future generations as well. And we want to expand the peace. We want to expand it with our other neighbors, especially with the Palestinians. We need a peace anchored in security arrangement, both to bolster the peace itself, but also to protect our security. We left Lebanon Iran walked in with Hezbollah. We left Gaza, Iran walked in with Hamas. Those are lessons that we cannot neglect. Let me also say some words about the recent Arab riots that took place in Israel. Israel believes in the right to demonstrate peacefully whatever the object of the protest. However, violent rioting that endangers life cannot be tolerated. The so-called Nakba Day was not a protest against the 1967 occupation, so-called occupation, but a rejection of Israel's basic right to exist, as indicated by it being held on the day of Israel's declaration of independence. Instead of promoting a positive agenda of their own, the Palestinians display total negativism, relying on denial, exclusion, and rejection of Israel. The obvious need should be stated again. An end to the conflict can only be achieved through negotiation, compromise, and recognition, and not through violence, riots, and unilateral moves. Dear friends, we believe that the greatest threat facing the world today is the possibility that the military Islamic regime will meet up with nuclear weapons, and that nuclear weapons will meet up with militant Islamic regimes. The first is called Iran, the second is called Pakistan. Given the events in our region, there are other possibilities as well. This cannot be allowed to happen. The good news is that nothing is inevitable. We have the power to protect our common civilization, to roll back the forces of radicalism, and to advance a secure peace. One of the keys to defending this, to defeating these radicals, is to be able to distinguish friends from enemies. In this battle between the 21st century and the 9th century, between freedom and despotism, between progress and archaic, members of MIFF and Israel stand exactly on the same side. I am sure that this is something each of every one of you understand. And this is why I am so happy to see you here and to be here with you. We share with you our common civilization, our common roots, our common values, our common aspiration for the future. If we stand together, if we solidify this partnership, we have the strength, and we will have the determination to protect and secure our common future. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, and tusen takk.
And Ambassador, thank you very much for your speech and for your visit to our conference. And to show our appreciation, we want to give you this nice flower. Thank you very much. Thank you.